record. All righty, here we go. Thank you everybody for being here today it's Saturday. I was thinking it was Sunday for a second. On Saturday, September 17th for the artist talk for round 17 of call and response with the theme of time. So in the artist talks, what I'll do is I'll share my screen and look at the exhibition, and whoever is here that participated and wants to just do like a short, a couple of minute synopsis of the experience. We won't talk about each individual piece because we just don't have time for that. There's hundreds of pieces on there. But yeah, just like a synopsis of your experience of, call and response and working with your partner. If your partner's here, then great, the two of you can talk at the same time or together and stuff like that. And we can go from there. So with that, let me see. And, just in case you're just tuning in for the first time, let's see, and I see a couple of things in chat, so I'll look at that in a second. Call and response started in March of 2020 when the pandemic first started. My team and I got together and put it together in response to being on lockdown, and we wanted to find a way for artists to continue to work, to also connect. That was the biggest thing. On lockdown, we were just having a hard time not having a hard time, but we were isolated. And so this was a way to allow artists to connect with somebody on a daily basis, creating work. So it got them in the studio, it got them creating when a lot of artists had, were struggling to, create anything, because of the stress of what was going on. So yeah, we put this together, and like I said, this is round 17. So, which is very cool. And, I mentioned before we started that I am going to take a break for a few months after this. The holidays are coming up, and, I have a lot going on, and self-care. So, yes, self-care. So with that, let me see. I see there's a few people. Okay, there's a couple people who are already in line to talk about their work. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And let's see. So I know first we had Victoria, and I think Sean Michael is here too. So that is perfect.
Yeah, Sean Michael just came in. I saw, hi, John Michael.
Yeah.
John Michael, sorry.
And so, yeah,
Hi.
if you want to get us started off here, let me find you.
Sean Michael, if you're willing to start, since you were the caller and I was the responder, that would be great. Up to you.
Okay, yeah, sure. I don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, and I will just scroll through.
So I recently got through the control for my wheelchair machine. It was kind of slowed down, so I had the time to figure out the tires and stuff. I'm still playing with it and sending to the team, to Victoria. We're going back and forth. It's really cool to see the change over time. A community related to life and the cycles, and being born and living and dying and life cycles. We come back again.
Really pretty.
Having being a child and growing up and then going through the experiences, it's cool. I enjoyed seeing how you your different perspectives of time. And a little bit, I thought it was a little funny, the perspectives too, because I think of timey-wimey, like a Doctor Who reference. So that, and have that process with time. So, yeah. And recently I started making jewelry with the design and art too, and including that in here as well. and seeing how it can be videoed. And yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, well, do you want to say anything else right now? Or should I go ahead, Sean Michael?
Yeah, go ahead, Victoria. What do
Okay,
you want
thanks.
to talk about your
Thanks.
part?
Yeah, no, it was a real privilege to work with Sean Michael, and I mean, he's, you know, the real deal, and and I started in these call and response activities. I've done, I think, 4 or 5 by now. I'm not sure, haven't kept track, but because my daughter Beatrice, who would love to be here today, she was the partner of Abiola, and she wants to send a shout out to Abiola if she comes on the call, that she really loved the interaction. I really enjoyed working with Sean Michael, and it was kind of fun because I was between New York City and California during the whole, like half and half during the time of the call and response. So I was able to, because my my work, I mean, I'm you know, professionally, I don't do anything in the arts, so that's why I felt privileged to work with Sean Michael, and I really love his work, and the jewelry is just gorgeous. So hope to see it in the flesh one of these days. So what I do in these call and responses is I take little short videos and photographs, just kind of in a found object kind of mentality. So just kind of letting things that strike me just as I'm walking down the street or whatever. The thing that's on the screen right now, in the middle, the sparrow in flight, was one of those kind of amazing. I was taking a number of photographs of some birds. I was at a cafe with a friend, and because they had a little dish of water there, and so the sparrows were gathering. And then I was just so delighted when I actually managed to capture this bird in flight. And so the idea, what I loved about the exchange with Sean Michael was really how quickly we kind of got into the existential issues of time, life and death, as he said, and rebirth, and sort of the subjective perception of time, and, you know, sort of very, for me, it felt very philosophical, but visually it was really stimulating, and I love his colors and textures, and so I was doing my best to keep up with some photographs of nature, and it was a real delight. So thank you, Sean Michael, and thank you, Christine, for making it possible. And this was just really serendipitous. So I really loved it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Victoria and Sean Michael. Really great collaboration. And, you know, like so many of these, there were a lot of videos. And also, I know Mary and Pau have audio. So go back and watch the videos and listen to the audio too. Unfortunately, we won't have time to do that today, but definitely go back and watch those. You know, and video is like the perfect medium for time. You know, so I was like, of course, you know, so many people use video. Use video. So awesome. Thank you both so much. Okay, so then I have, I have the lineup so far: Julie, Eva and Catherine, Lena, Dellis, and Janine. And so Julie, and I know Monica isn't here. Let me find, let's see. There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yep. You're
okay.
Good.
I got to be paired with Monica, and she has become a dear friend since the Please Touch, where we were, as the show we were in together, and we realized I live 6 minutes away from her. So it's wonderful that we were paired in this. Unfortunately, I was traveling during this time, so I was really limited to what I could do. And we both explored time in different ways. Like, I know she went through, halfway through, she went through a loss of a friend, a dear friend. And it affected her presentation, and it affected her, you know, her view on life and time, how much time we have in our life. And, unexpectedly, it could be taken away. Now, I took photographs when I could. A lot of these are when I was on the road. I started out with the end of time with having the coins on the eyes because you have to pay the ferryman when you leave. And from there, it became interesting. There's time travel. I explored that and she explored it after me. So it kind of almost turned around because I was away and having such a difficult time with responding. We have our little time traveler there and, expressing you don't have a lot of time. So be whoever you want to be, even if it's in the middle of a German village and you want to dress up, go ahead. And, time clocks, there's never enough time, and take time to go to the beach. And, again, like take time to travel. We have the suitcase marked with some of the wonderful places we've been as a reminder. And that poor suitcase is so worn out, but it's wonderful. And so we really responded to time in different ways. It was different to me, but you can see towards the end, time became fleeting and you have to capture it. And there's memories, like looking through the window of somebody walking by is a memory of someone, someone stepping away in your life. And, capture those memories, keep them, reflect back on them. And so that's kind of how we perceive the whole process of time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. It's a great collaboration. And I love how you're doing the self-portraits too, how you're including yourself in your work. I know you've done that before. I think in other, call and response, and you started off with the coins on your eyes. Really great great collaboration.
We really enjoyed it. Even though we had our own challenges, we really enjoyed it. So thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, and it's always wonderful to participate. So thank you again.
You're welcome. All right, so then we have Eva and Catherine. Let's see, here we go. All right.
Eva, do you want to go first or would you like me to go first? Me. Okay. So I am Catherine and I was thrilled to be a partner with Eva. I did not know Eva at all, and that's also great because you just come in and you don't know anybody's style, and it's just really nice to meet someone new. It was my third time doing it, and Ava went first. She was the first one, and I responded. And Ava has a very distinct style. It's very personal. Like everything she photographs and what she writes is really from the heart. It's just very beautiful prose. So it just made me have to really think about how I responded. And I found that I kind of stole her style actually halfway through. I was like, I want to try this as well. So I started doing more photography and writing things and manipulating the photograph, because you can do that so easily now. And I was really enjoying that sort of departure from my usual way of working. And then of course, halfway through, the Queen died, and it was my turn to respond. And it was a moment in time. It was like, something very historical. So I felt the need to kind of respond really to things that were happening in the world. And we kind of just halfway through sort of did a little bit of a tangent and went off into a different kind of way. But yeah, really enjoyed this. And it was really fruitful, I think. Really great images.
Yes, I thought it was an amazing process, and I was very touched by how we did spark each other. And I thought, oh, what an unusual way to get to know someone, and it's so intimate. And I found her prose very, very, I cried sometimes after reading some of her prose, and the imagery was so powerful. I started out, yeah, pretty personal, because for me, the first image was of my mother, and a long time ago when she used to play music that she composed that she never played for anybody other than me. And I was really, the whole time thing kind of came crushing down on me, because I just never really thought about it before. I was just rushing around. And so then that made it, it became a lot more impactful on my my emotions than I had expected it to be. I thought it was going to be much more intellectual. And I do have already some pieces that I've been working on that deal with time and space-time continuums and things like that. But they're very, they're either intellectual or historical, or, you know, but this was a completely different way to approach it. And I just was really blown away by how powerful it was when I took a much more personal tone. But even when it took a personal approach, it had a universality that was undeniable, which I loved. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, we got deep down really quickly.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, another fantastic collaboration, and you know, you can tell it's so thoughtful. And yeah, definitely everybody go back, and if you haven't had a chance, read the words, read the poems, you know, for sure. Wonderful. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. All right, Lena.
Thank you, Catherine.
Hi, everyone. I don't think my partner Aishwarya is here because she's in India. She's probably, it's nighttime there. So first of all, I want to say I'm very grateful for this round of collaboration, as I was in many others that I've participated, and I enjoyed every one of them, and everyone is special. You always meet another artist and get kind of immersed in their style and always learn something new. So thank you so much. And another thing I wanted to mention is that theme. I really enjoyed the theme. That the fact that the theme was given kind of gave you as a caller, it was easier to start. And I also loved the specific theme of time, because just recently I had a series. It's about time, with watches and arrows and deconstructing clocks. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to jump on this theme. So basically, since I was a caller, I kind of started with a collage that would include an arrow just to start with. And Aishwarya immediately picked up on that. And then we started kind of rolling with that. And as with every collaboration, I usually find for myself that it's rewarding. There's some pieces that I make as a result of a collaboration that I'm really proud of and I'm really happy about. And some pieces are like, okay, I need to provide a response and I'm struggling. So I don't know if other artists are experiencing that or not during these collaborations, but it's like not every day is the same, right? Because 24 hours sometimes is not enough to produce something awesome. But I am proud of some pieces that I got an inspiration from Aishwarya. Like, for example, the piece that is in the middle with a dialogue there with an angel. The message there says, "Time waits for no one," and then I responded with a collage with the picture of Tom Waits and kind of like a riddle there with numbers that would say, "Time waits for no one" with numbers. So I kind of thought that was cool, and I would have never produced anything if it wasn't for Aishwarya. So I'm super grateful to that. Overall, did we go deep? I think so, but at the same time, we kind of jumped around a lot on topics of time, and what it means to us, and transition that society has gone through in, through times. And it was just really really enjoyable, and it kind of went very quick because we didn't give each other 24 hours. It was less because the time, like basically I would wake up to an image, right? And because she worked while I slept, so I had to really work faster than usual, so that was also a challenge. But yeah, I mean, it was another great collaboration, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Christine. And I want to mention that all the images that I've seen so far right now are super impressive, and I'm honored to be with such amazing group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lena. I know, I mean, it looks like both of you, it took a long time on each image, because I know this is like, your regular art. This is what you do. And so I can't imagine, I mean, luckily, like you said, you've already been dealing with aspects of time, so you already had that in your mind. But it's interesting to see the different, pairings, and how, some take 5 minutes, some take hours,
right.
And that's okay. That's what we do.
Yep.
But really beautiful. I mean, it's very cohesive, lovely collaboration. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dallas.
Okay, so yeah, my partner is not here. She's traveling Alaska.
Yeah.
I wish I were going too. And again, being the first person to do the call is always challenging, but I started. So we went the other way. You guys went deep. The other ones, they went deep into time, and we went kind of the opposite direction, 180. We kind of got in a groove of if cliches and little sayings were visual, what would it look like? That's kind of the groove that we got in. So time is ticking. It's an over-exaggerated hourglass, just 2 bottles, wrapped, but big, huge beads in there. So it just goes through so fast. It's not like the regular hourglass where it kind of drops in. And then, as we go on, you'll see the different, the titles of sayings that you're used to hearing. And this is kind of what we envisioned it would look like. Megan didn't do any titles on hers because she works with titles in her stuff, all the time. So she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, that's fine, because they'll see what we're going for with the titles of my piece. So I did incorporate some of my actual work, which I work with fibers, and then just got into more of installations and photographing them to represent all these different little sayings. And we really kind of played off each other. It was a lot of fun. She actually, the little one, the baby, she used AI, so we had a little bit of a conversation about that, because I'm like, ooh, wow. And the ones with the knife, where I have killing time, she's the opposite. I had a bunch of watches, and she says, we don't have any watches, just the watch, the phone, whatever, but we have a lot of knives. So, if you click on that one, the whole word time is made out in all of the knives. So we had different collections. She had a collection of knives, I had a collection of watches. So, we thought that was kind of fun, kind of interesting. There was a little bit of blip in there because I did have 2 losses, so we took a couple of days off because, I had to get myself together. And then ended with the installation of Elusive Time. But it was so much fun. I really loved working with her. And Christine, thank you so much. This is always so inspiring. It always gets my juices going. It gets you thinking, and help you. It helps you to develop your concept and what you think about things. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's exactly what what I would hope.
Yes.
That everybody got out of it. Just doing something different helps shift your brain, shift your perspective.
Exactly.
Think
So
outside the box.
if the rest of you get a chance, click on the images, because some of them here are a little cut off, but when you look at the whole exhibition, you'll see the whole message of all the pieces.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Dallas. All right, Janine.
Hi, good morning.
Hey.
First, Christine, it's so nice to see you. I've missed you.
You too. I know.
And I was just thinking as Dallas was talking that this round of this came at the perfect time, another use of time for me, because I really needed something to sort of spark some new thinking, new work, and accountability. So I don't think my partner is here, Pasha. She started and sent that first image, and we only spoke once, actually. We had a phone call. I just thought it'd be nice to say hi. I didn't know her. And the first one she sent, even though she didn't send it in, actually has movement in it. There was a video version of it that was just very gentle movement of the leaves. I looked at, this is, I think, the third time I've done call and response. And I always feel a little bit like it's a game of telephone where someone starts and then you sort of, pick it up, because as I said, well, although we had some emails back and forth, we really didn't discuss anything. So I took a piece of hers and created the first collage that I did. So the second piece, which for me in my first sort of emotional response and excitement about taking the time was also time off. And so that was the first collage. And then she kind of stayed consistent. It's almost like we had parallel paths going with her next one. And then I sort of looked at each of these for me as almost like little chapters and little stories, like life is, of the chapters of time, and how things transition. They can fall apart, they can come together. And so throughout, it'd be great if, when people get a chance to look at that one as a video, because it is sort of this dissolving of time. So it went back and forth like this, like I said, like a game of telephone. And I always wanted to incorporate at least one piece of what she sent me in the next piece that I did, to keep it cohesive and to feel like there was a connection. But it was all through our own minds of what the interpretation was, because we weren't speaking. That's where this sort of game of telephone in my head. I wonder what, I would think, I wonder what she was thinking with the next one. Like there's one where there's like these pink ribbons. I think you're showing it now on the left side, which seemed different than everything else. And I thought, there's a little bit of this like falling apart, or something came into the picture. And it became more and more abstracted for me also, as I feel like life and time does, and memories do. But I kept going back to the first, like, what are those old chapters and old moments within this whole thread? And so that's sort of how that evolved. And then when you get to the very last one, I guess we're not there yet. So this last one, I tried to take a little bit of all of them to tell the story as a whole of what we did, and then create a cohesive piece that stands on its own as well. Like, this is the story of this time.
I love that. That's the perfect ending. And it's a really beautiful piece too.
Yeah, it's a real combo piece. I work a lot with different materials. Like the first one, I could actually show you, it's right here. I actually created a piece before I went digital, but then this last one is a total combo piece. So I go back and forth with lots of things and paint and apps and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's a beautiful collaboration. Thank you so much.
And I'm like so happy to reconnect with you and your community. I missed it. So
yay.
Like I said, the timing couldn't have been better.
I did mention I'm going to be taking a break from call and response for a little while, but you can all, don't forget, we have our peer mentorship program. So you can sign up and be paired with another artist, you know, to mentor each other and hold each other accountable. And it's on our website, shoeboxarts.com. So, you know, definitely check with that too. And all right, let's see. And we have April and Shloka, and I don't think Shloka's here.
No, Shloka's not going to be attending, but she does have something. I told her I could say something for her if she wanted, and she sent me something via email to say
great.
for her. And I'll talk briefly about this. And that's not me.
Oh no, I think let's see. I think we're good. Go ahead.
I'll talk briefly about this one and then briefly about my next collab. Would that be okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I don't know if Eva Marie is going to speak, but it'd be nice if she did about her, because I think she is here. I saw that she is. Okay. So I'll read you the piece from Shloka first, and then I did want to say with what Lena was saying, that was the same exact way with us, because she's in India, in Bangalore. So it was where I would send it an email, and the next morning I'd wake up because it was only working 12 hours as opposed to the 24 hours back and forth, you know, which was I liked. I didn't mind. It was actually a little better. But yes, here's what she says. This was my 5th round of call and response, and I had a blast. My partner Abra and I completed a total of 20 pieces, and to borrow her analogy, it truly did feel like ping pong on some days. I enjoyed responding to her beautiful photographs and collages, and this round saw me experiment the most. I tried different approaches, new apps, and Abra challenged me to think outside of my comfort zone. I hope you enjoy viewing and engaging with our work. Many thanks to Shoebox for this initiative. Warmly, Shloka.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. She said it was very nice that I just like offered to do it in the first place. I'm like, well, you're not going to be there. And it was fun. I like to, being that I started, I didn't know where to start, but I had found these ghost leaves and I thought they were divine. So I wanted to just photograph them. I didn't know to do much more. And she does haikus, she writes, so that's how she responded with the picture and a brief haiku of her own. And then it kind of went into more conceptual, like playing with the ideas, like someone also said, like the phrases that time is used in, like this one would be tied to time, and I used another time and from a different out of time or running out of time, don't want to be out and I don't got time for this, just a whole bunch of, you know, time phrases like that. But then also conceptually, or like what time meant in the like different aspects, like the weathering, like with the ghost leaf or the skeleton leaf, what time does to time and the elements, what it does to different things. And I had taken this picture of my mother's benches in the backyard, and when Eva posted her pictures of her apple, kind of reminded me of that. So I liked the weather to look, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have something that'll look perfect for that. And then I went back to the whole concept of like, oh, time and stairs and I went into the time traveling and the sectioning off of time, like different fragments of time, but it all being one concentric circle, and then trying to escape from time, like a passageway to another universe kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know what Schlocka meant with this last thing and the ice cream cone. I did hope that she would be able to say something about that, because that's a little out of left field, as they say, I think, or right field. I'm not sure. I don't play baseball. But yes.
It
So
kind of, yeah, looks like as if, your figure is jumping into this, like wormhole, and her figure is jumping out of like the ice cream hole. And
the ice cream cone is the wormhole?
Yeah, maybe it seems like a very surreal image because she includes dollies.
Yeah.
Persistence of time. So yeah, maybe like, the reverse, like Eva Marie says, or just like a surreal world or something.
No, you know what? After like that movie where the bagel is the piece of time, everything bagel, and then
oh yeah.
I just saw Thor and talking about the weirdness of those like comic books from back in the day and how it's incorporated in the movies. Like, really, the tunnel of time or the afterlife, it could be a freaking ice cream cone.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's such a great movie too. Yeah.
Everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. Okay, the Eva Marie and myself collab. Now that one came about because she had, I saw her in her posts, I follow her on Instagram, that her partner had been unresponsive. She had sent some things to him, and at first he returned, but then nothing, ghosted, as they say in the newer kids and stuff. And I like I said, I was kind of inspired with the weathered piece, with the bench, or this whatever, this chair outside. And I figured I'll do something in response to the apple, and I did this GIF, of the apple being, or the plum being eaten, the plum caught. And but I can't post a GIF on Instagram, so I did something like hers, a layout kind of thing. And then she did this phenomenal piece, and with the dawning of time almost, so I tried to capture the sun one morning. There was some reflective light in there for a couple of minutes, like I was blind, but I really liked that this collaboration was different from the other collaboration, because I was wondering if it was just going to fall in that same area, and I myself tried to keep it out of that, like out of the colors, out of like the digital collaging that I sometimes do, and just try to work with the pictures so much, but yeah, I thought it was a nice collab. Limited. I wish we could have had longer, but I really liked that we had played with different concepts of time. One was like what time can do, and then time travel, and the way that time is recorded, like with hers with the clock and the moon, and yeah, I loved it. I don't know if she is going to speak though.
I'm here.
Okay.
No, I want to really thank April, because I kind of did get a little bummed with my first, if you want to call it, collaborator. I was desperately reaching out to him, and I get life kind of gets in the way. But this was the last piece I had sent to him, the apple one, that I was really trying to kind of push him and push him and push him. And I gave him multiple days to respond. And April reached out to me, which I'm very grateful for, because I was so bummed that I would have to just give up this beautiful concept. And I thought, you know what, if I have to give it up, I'm going to do it all on my own. So I was so grateful to April. When she sent me that plum cot, I was like, oh my God, the colors are insane. So I took it as just like the revealing of color from that green to the core, that beautiful, lush, fleshy, bloody color. So I just kind of got up real early in the morning and went back to my little studio area and put my camera and just kind of literally every half hour to hour, I just start photographing from one viewpoint so you could reveal color. Then she sends me this gorgeous circle, like a sun flare, and it just reminded me of an old pocket watch. And then I have my old mannequin from my old art school days, and I just layered it all. And then she sent me the beautiful skeleton one with the symbols of the circle. And I thought, well, you know what, that's an interesting way of looking at it, is kind of eternity and the symbolism. So I start researching symbolic meanings of time. So I took one that had to do with, was it the ancient, I think was the moon. The pendulum is Greek, and I think it's attached to Galileo. And then the actual face of a clock is more modern concept of time. So it's symbolic of time. And then she responded with that beautiful certain time of night. So it was a gorgeous collaboration. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad it worked out. And, you know, thank you, April, for reaching out. I mean, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, Shalaka ended our collab a week early.
Oh, okay.
And I was bummed about that. I was like, I really felt like I had, you know, I was at the edge of a cliff and like, I was ready to keep on going and there's no ground left underneath me. And so, like I said, I had seen her post saying that like she couldn't get her partner to respond. And so I reached out to her and yeah, so like I said to her, it was kismet, it was destiny kind of thing. It was meant to be. And as far as what she said about the plum cot, that's why I decided to take a picture of it, because they had took that bite of it and it revealed this beautiful color. I'm like, oh my God, I want to take pictures of it.
Yeah.
And pictures of it. And it was actually before we had decided on the collaboration. But I was like, I have something that I already made for that. If you want to like start this. Yeah.
Oh, so cool. Well, it's a beautiful collaboration, you know, all around in many different ways.
I'm glad it restored faith in like your fellow artist, collaborator. Like, oh man, you know, that's a good thing too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Thank you.
Eva Marie, I think, did you want to talk about your other?
It could be very brief.
Okay.
This is what I sent Marquez. I had drawn a clock and I was thinking of kind of old and broken time, and a little bit of, someone had pointed out, a little bit of the Renaissance feel, because I had studied Italian Renaissance. So I kind of wanted to give him that vibe. And he sent to me this beautiful line. He converted my image into a line drawing and he sent it with this gorgeous figure. And I couldn't get him to tell me, you know, what does she represent? I wanted to know a little bit more about her. So I just sent him a picture where I darkened it. And I think I took it too dark because I actually stained it with coffee. And I took it too dark, and if the full image was there, for some odd reason, the way the stains hit, it looked like crosses on the right-hand side. And I didn't mean it to go in the context of religion. And he sent my picture back with the hand, the line drawing of the hand in it to the top left-hand side.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, I just didn't want to go the direction where he just kept adding onto my one image. I really wanted to stretch it. So that's why I did the apple, where I shot the apple. I laid it out at say 6 p.m. And my intent was to photograph it until almost 6 p.m. the next day. So a 24-hour time of this apple, and to see if anything would take it. And I think something finally did, and it was completely gone. And then he never responded. I think it was probably like almost a week. And then April stepped in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad it was able to continue with the apple.
Yeah.
There, so very cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I have B and Mary, and then if anybody else wants to go after that, go ahead and put your name in chat. And yeah, let's see. And oops. And the other B. Let's see. Let me put your last name in. There we go. And also Oderly is here too, I think. So if there's still...
Hi everybody. Hi Christine.
Hey.
Oderly, I'm so glad you're on the call, and I think it's so nice to see your face.
Yeah. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, Oderly has started the collaboration, so I'm not quite sure if maybe you had wanted to speak first, or...
Oh, sure, that's fine. And my name's pronounced Odarly.
Okay.
It's African.
That's
yeah,
how I had it
know
in
it's
my
a little
head.
bit hard. Everybody wants to go Irish with it, but it's okay. So yeah, I had a similar starting point where my collaborator didn't reach out, and I waited and a week into it I sent a message to Christine, and she connected me with Beatrice. And so I was so thankful, because it's my first time doing this project. And it was I just came back from a residency in Italy where we were doing slow drawing, and like slowing everything down, slowing your process down, but in short increments of time. So that was kind of where I was going with my starting point, was mixing all sorts of materials together and playing with that idea of time. So it's like, okay, my time is, how much time do I have to do this? So I gave myself 5 minutes to paint with coffee and watercolors. So that was the first image that I came up with. And then as we started working, it was like we started bringing in all these natural materials and playing with, I think for us, it was circles that really became our signature, which is funny because I usually don't work with circles. I'm much more in this like square space, I guess. So it was really cool to really push myself. It looks nothing like any of the work that I do. So I was really inspired, and I feel like we had a really cool interaction, because we were telling each other what we were using. And so I was trying to incorporate, like, we did turmeric was the next thing. I'd never worked with turmeric as a painting material. So I was like, ooh, this is an amazing color. And so I kept throwing the turmeric in there, and then adding all sorts of the purple came in. And so I think we were really into looking at the colors. But for me, my process was really like, okay, now for this round, I'm in France, by the way. So we also had the issue of time. And I think she was getting my stuff like bright and early every morning. And I'd have like this big long day to work on stuff. And so when I would get up, I would have something as well. So I would think, okay, I can kind of take my time and I don't have to send it off first thing in the morning. So I think we found a good rhythm by the end. And I ended up going on a trip where I thought I would have Wi-Fi at the end. So we lost about 3 days, but I was able to get out the last 2. I found the fern leaf in a cave. I was in Karnak. I don't know if you guys know about these amazing rocks that are in Karnak. And we got to go into this cave, and this fern was sticking like in my face. And I said, oh, you're coming with me today. So it was alive the first day that I took it. And by the last image, it had already started to dry up. So I thought that was a really cool reference to showing time as well. I don't think we like got too wrapped up in showing time, but it was kind of like this evolution of time and how our conversations influenced each other, and how we got more and more vibrant as well. Our colors got really, really bright and in a way simplified by the end as well. It was really interesting to see how we had that conversation, but we never talked, and it was really cool to just jump in and get started. So that was for my end. I don't know how it was for you, Beatrice.
No, thank you for that. For me, it was like I was traveling and I wasn't nowhere near any of my studio materials. So I was also amidst a lot of people, but I was also in nature. And so I kind of, when you wrote, I loved that we kind of wrote our materials just to spark, because I'm also very experimental in my work, and I actually have used turmeric in installations and projects and things like that. So when you had the coffee, I was like, oh, okay, there's turmeric in this cabinet. I could use that, you know, when I was in my sister's place upstate. And so, you know, I was surrounded by nature. So it was okay, well then it's wildflowers that are around and whatever's sort of around. And I really didn't have, I really did it really quick. And so I know it was about time, but for me, I really was feeling about the kind of like zooming in, zooming out of time, the nature, or finding elements on a bike ride, collecting in the forest that's similar to your fern. You know, so it was, and I didn't have certain days, you know, even paper or pen when I was traveling or anything, or turmeric in a cabinet when I was in another location. So I was doing a lot of digital manipulation of things that I was collaging, found, etc., or photographing and digitally then kind of altering literally on the phone. And I had never really done that. And, you know, in call response, and I've done these also a number of times. And like someone else mentioned on the call, this kind of was a perfect time for me because I had left my job of 18 and a half years from Q. And so it was this transition moment. And so it was really lovely to just kind of focus on making these works. And they, for me, were pretty quick. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed, you know, working with you so much, and that we didn't have conversations aside from just knowing what the materials were and sort of just kind of going off of what we were sharing with one another. And some other folks have expressed, I think it would have been fun to even have this go longer, you know, but I enjoyed it very much.
Awesome. And this one was longer than any of the others too. It was actually 3 weeks long, or almost.
I know, and I'm like, it's never long enough. But it's good to have that time stop, you know.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much, Christine, and thank you so much for this collaboration. And I understand the moment to take some time too. So yeah, I'll be looking out for the next one because I really do enjoy them.
Yeah, thank you so much as well.
We like them so much because they take them away from us. You keep taking them and you only give them sparingly.
Yeah,
so we're like
yeah, take it away and then you can have it back again. It's like limited time.
yeah, talk about time. I love how you both like use just the materials that you had, you know, the turmeric, the coffee, you know, wherever you were. That's really great.
I think we were both in the same situation. It sounds like, yeah, we were traveling around. It was like, okay, I've got this. That's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
no, that's great.
So much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, we have Mary, and then Jeannie and Eva, and then Nino. And let me see. So, oops, wait, where am I? And yes, again, don't forget to go back and listen to Mary and Pao have a lot of audio. So Mary, are you still here?
I am, and I apologize. I'm in and out because I have a Velcro dog and I live in a trailer and it's never quiet.
No problem.
So thank you. Yeah, we had a little bit of a stall too. I think Pao had some health issues and I was a little bit nervous in the beginning because I sent Christine an email saying, I'm not hearing anything. But then we worked it out. So that was good. But she did do all, she sent me all of hers were the MP3s or MP4s or whatever, which was wonderful to me because she's in Argentina and her voice is beautiful. The first thing I did was sing Time in a Bottle. And then she just started talking to me and it was amazing. That's my dog's footprints and my footprints at Doran Beach. I live in Healdsburg, California, which is a wealthy area, but we live in the ghetto. So it's a whole different experience for me. My dog has saved my life. I was homeless for a period after the fires. We've had horrible, horrible wildfires here in California. And before I got my dog, some horrible things happened to me. And I am no longer living outside by the river, but I still struggle with a lot of the same kind of issues. And time to me is, it still doesn't make sense because I lived outside for 2 years in a tent that would fall apart. And when I had food, I had food. And when I had water, I had water. And I am about to turn 65 and never in my life did I ever think that would happen to me. So in terms of time, I feel like in a way I'm starting over. And in a way I lost so much because it's incomprehensible to me that a woman my age would ever end up outside. But it does happen a lot now in the United States. I'm sure it happens all over the world. I am now taking care of a woman with early onset Alzheimer's, and that's what that one was about. Some days she can't remember how to put her underwear on, and it tugs at my heart. I don't think I could work with her if I didn't care for her. And so there were times when Pal was my sounding board, and that was excellent because if you listen to her word, her spoken word, it will blow your mind how beautiful and soothing it is. So she kept responding and I would respond to her. And it was our second collaboration. And so we kind of got to know each other a little bit better with this one. And I really love these and I'm glad you put them on, Christine. I'm looking forward to doing more programs with Shoebox as I get my life even more together. So yeah, it's harvest time up here. And the sound of empty grape trucks and full grape trucks is all you hear. We don't do raisins here. It's all wine and probably bottles of wine that cost more than I'll ever make in my lifetime. But it was fun because I realized that after I did my one vocal one, I didn't really want to do a lot of vocals. That was after a party. I take my friend to the senior center. So we had a Hawaiian luau theme that day. And I realized it's like everyone says, you don't know how long you have. And she has no sense of time at all. And she's starting to do sundowning. I don't know if people have been around people with Alzheimer's, but they switch the time around. And that's my dog and I when we lived out in the bushes. And he was definitely happier outside. Are you talking now too? I know I'm talking about you. So yeah, thank God for the Red Cross, right? That's my dog chiming in.
See, there is
so
sound.
Please do. Yeah. So please, and we have a very large Hispanic, obviously we're in California and we're on the coast and we're in a dry, arid region. So there's a huge Hispanic population up here, which I appreciate. I grew up in Vallejo, so being in Sonoma County is like taking somebody from one world, a third world, into a world that they had only read about. And even though I've been here in Sonoma County a long time, I still am a Vallejo girl in my heart. So I just encourage you again to listen to her voice. It's very soothing and she's very wise. And that's exactly what I needed this time around. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Mary. And as somebody said, you are definitely an inspiration. So
well, thank you. I've met some really cool people here, and it's glad to see their faces because it took me a long time to figure out how to even do a Zoom, and then that I could turn it off the video if I had to go to the bathroom. I'm not in that world anymore.
Yeah, well, we're so glad that, you are able to come on Zoom now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyway,
you're welcome.
That's Rambo Deuteronomy, and now he's 5.5 and fat like me. We both got fat during the pandemic. I should say fatter. So he saved my life and vice versa. So we're a pretty good team.
Awesome. I'm glad you both have each other.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, Jeannie and Eva, let's see. Jeannie, are you still here? Was Jeannie able to? Yeah, I think so.
There I am. I'm here.
Yay.
Still in Hawaii, Jeannie?
I am in Hawaii. Yeah, I'm.
Nice.
I was outside on the porch, but now I moved inside because I decided, okay, I better do the breakfast dishes while I'm listening. So I did, because we were driving sort of back partially across the island. So this is my second week here, because my first week I was with friends on Oahu, and then Jack met me there. His daughter lives in Oahu, and he met me there, and we flew to the Big Island, and we were on the Hilo side at a place that I cannot begin to recommend enough to all you guys as like an artist spot to retreat to. Inexpensive, beautiful, called Mahana House. If you love cats, that is. They had they were also a cat sanctuary, and so cats everywhere. Coming in the morning on our lanai, there were like 6 cats waiting for us at sunrise. It was really cool. And so then now we're over here, we're on the Kona side, and it's like returning to Los Angeles, kind of, it's like it's all the traffic and everything. And it was nice to walk back from dinner after having had a Mai Tai, but other than that, we were kind of like, oh my God, like we missed the cats, we missed the country, we missed, being in the middle of nowhere and stargazing. So anyway, we're driving halfway back around the island again to go to volcanoes, because Jack didn't quite believe me that it was closer to reach Volcanoes National Park from the Hilo side than the Kona side. But yeah, it would have been. So anyway, we're going back there today. So speaking of time, we have to get going to there. But I got to say, Eva was just a delight to work with, absolute delight. We just clicked sort of from the get-go, and I did a mix of the photography and the the poetry as usual, and she did beautiful written stuff with beautiful both painted and photographic images that were just fabulous. And we just really clicked on that, and it was wonderful, and we just had such a good time working together. I mean, it was just really a beautiful match. And we were we really enjoyed our time, and we were so back and forth immediately that we finished our collaboration perfectly a week early. And so then I tried to get everything into Christine, but somehow Dropbox was glitching, and it was like late before, and I was trying to get ready to pack, and I knew it was glitching, but it looked okay, but apparently the numbering was not. So then Eva had to step in and redo the numbering. So, but anyway, it was a wonderful collaboration, just a joy. It was very expansive and freeing, and just really a beautiful experience all around. Just a beautiful experience.
Thank you, Jeannie.
So, and yeah, so anyway, so I'll pass this over to Eva, but I loved working with her. It was one of those just pure pleasure collaborations that was like an instant click. So I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. And I had never done this before, and I had the honor to do it with 2 people because I was invited to. So I said, sure, okay, I'll do it. And I just had no idea how deeply affected I was going to be by her poetry. Her prose was just really so good. And so it was really a challenge. It really was a challenge, and I wanted to meet every challenge. And we really did have a back and forth that was very meaningful. And I really felt like I got to know Jeannie very well. And we've never even met. So it was, and we didn't talk much outside other than to go, oh, when we would get each other's work, we might make a little comment or something like that. But it was a great experience, and I would definitely do this again. Thank you so much, Christine, and thank you, Jeannie. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing too. And again, all of us, so much credit due to Christine for setting this up, because it was just a joy. And I definitely would love to meet you in person, because it was just a lovely, lovely, lovely bond. It was just beautiful, wonderful, wonderful work. And everything I see in Hawaii, I keep wanting to send the images to her and write her something back. It's like, oh my God, I want to keep sending it to her, because it's just like, oh my God, that's perfect. That really shows, time. That really shows this. And of course, the subject time was very meaningful to me. So I loved it.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
And I hate to hit and run, and I will watch everything later, but we got to get on our drive. So
no problem. Have fun.
Bye, Jeannie.
Bye, sweeties.
Jeannie.
All your work is fabulous. Just fabulous.
All right. We have Nino and then Adiola. Nino, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
She's so patient. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was starting, so somehow usually it's hard for me, but I find that I love theme time so much that I just immediately got an idea how to start it. So yeah, and the flow, somehow it was really nice. And I didn't know in the beginning, but it was Rita's first time, and she didn't really know in the beginning how to respond, and then she responded, and then when I sent, she was like, oh, this is how we should do it. I was like, no, like there is no shoot. And somehow, yeah, I even didn't notice it was first time for her in the beginning. And then somehow, yeah, I just love her style and colors, and somehow it's so nice to get respond with the colors and things I really enjoy. And I was like, wow, how can the taste match so much? And I tried things I would not do without it. So it was really interesting. Somehow it flew just, yeah. It was really call and response, and that's what I enjoyed. Like every time I would open my email, I was like, oh my God, and I had this response, and then I was just doing it. And I love this moment.
Oh, that's awesome. I always say that it's, the process is one of the most beautiful things about the collaborations. We can see all the work at one time, but it's really when you're in it, when you're doing it, that is really special.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's amazing.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so grateful.
All right, Adiola. Oops.
Hi.
Victoria was here, who is Beatrice's mom, and Beatrice is traveling, so isn't able to make it, but said to say hi, and it was a beautiful experience.
Oh, okay. First of all, just wanted to say thank you for giving us all this opportunity, and for me to be able to participate in every one of them. I truly enjoyed. We started out. She started out with the call, and then we kind of get into some hiccups because I wasn't getting the stuff back. So I'm like, okay, she getting. So I sent something to her and says, did you get it? Just in case, I'm resending it. And then I found out that she is in New York. I thought she was local, and I said, oh, okay. So then I've tried to do it. Sometimes if I get it early enough, I'll do it early so that when she sees it, it will be like in the morning, and it can work with our schedule much, much better. And everything kind of moved smoothly once I realized that she was in a different time zone. And it was just lovely how we fit off one to the next and stuff. Of course, most of what I did is mostly a video clip. She did a combination of video and graphics, And so it was real nice and wonderful just to work with her. I was hoping she would be here today so that maybe she can talk a little bit about some of the things that she did. I love the ones that we did where I had to pick something that's local, because when I get a response, like, okay, wherever I am, like, oh, maybe I'll find something in this environment to use to respond. So when I did locally, we have a park that has the different time zone of the sister cities, and I took that and created a little video clip of those sister city, the clock that's installed at the park, and then she turned around and gave the sister city of this image. And it's funny how all of them have a clock or some type of time element in them. So it was real fun doing that. And then this other one, then we got into breathing and relaxing and taking things easy and slow. There was a time that she shared that, she was overwhelmed with schedule and things like that. So then we said, well, then we shifted and we started to talk more about doing things that makes you more grounded, do things that kind of slow you down, which is time elements, and taking it one step at a time. And I truly enjoyed that. So that was a breakaway from the initial way when we started. Oh yeah, this was one of the one I did, telling that inhale the future and exhale the past, and get to self in that state of tranquility, and using water. Water for me, ocean for me, is an element of Zen, of really where I like to go, so I can clear my head, so I can refresh and come back. And usually does that for me coming back in the studio. So I happened to visit the beach in Laguna and stuff around the time that we were doing this. So a lot of the shots that were taken were then utilized to reference that slow pace and taking things one day at a time, and don't let things overwhelm you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah. And it was interesting how she found some things. When I said that, she said, "Oh, you can't believe it, I found this in my archive." And it was perfect fit to respond to, whatever it was I sent out. The one that's right above that one was one of those where she said she found it in the archive, and it was like the perfect fit to respond, which I thought that was wonderful. Because sometimes when you get the call, you have to start to think and activate your brain. How am I going to respond to this? So I try to look at it. Should I pick a little bit out of it, or should I look at the old scope of what's been sent to me, and then respond that way, or maybe just find one thing inside that piece and then run away with that. And when you go to the last one, she said, "Oh, do you want to put in one more last one?" And I said, "Well, I didn't get anything back from you when I sent it to you on Friday, but I would love to if I knew." Then she said, "Oh, here it is. For some reason, I didn't get it." So then I said, "Okay, I'll do that." So I went ahead and did the last one, which is again has to do with the finding tranquility and
Awesome. What a lovely meditative, collaboration it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
really great.
And I didn't realize it was 3 weeks also. So, but in my head, I kept thinking we've been at it, because we missed a few days, like I said, in between, when I had to ask before I realized she was in a different time zone. And I'm like, okay, 2 weeks is up by now. And did we get anything from Christine? So I went back and started looking through all the emails. I'm like, oh, maybe she sent it at the beginning. I just didn't read it, because sometimes you do that where you send the information at the beginning, of the dates and all the stuff. And I just wasn't, I didn't kind of, make a mental note of it. So I kept thinking, okay. So I went back, and then I saw that it was 3 weeks. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I was panicking that we missed, turning in all the work we did, because it was already past 2 weeks.
Perfect description of time.
Yes, yes.
Yep, exactly, exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adiola. Is there anybody else that I didn't have anybody? I think we got everybody actually who's here. So I am going to stop sharing. So yeah, no, this was so great. Again, it's always so lovely to hear, everybody talk about their experiences with this. And I'm glad you all got so much out of it, with your partners, and yeah, really, really great. So I think that's it for this time. Look out for a few months for a next one just after a break. So yeah, and no, I'll look forward to seeing you all again, and seeing you around in different ways, for sure, for sure. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and get out and see art. And yeah, you all take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.